All right, motherfuckers. Here we are with what might be the most important video of the day, except for maybe the Raw review, because that's just, what's going to happen today. We're going to have to see live tonight, motherfuckers. But this video is very important because it is one of the main reasons why I started this channel. The point I'm trying to make is this. The toxicness of the smart beard, the toxicity, I should say, of the smart beard has ruined everything. And they have created some opinions that have permeated the fabric of wrestling fans and have led to incorrect conclusions about a variety of things. The most tragic of these conclusions is that John Cena sucks. Now, everyone has gone through a phase when they did not like the champ, all right? Myself included. There was a point in like 2005 when TNA was like getting big and they were actually very, very impressive and very entertaining. And WWE just kept on doing Cena versus Orton, And I started hating them both. I never really liked Batista back then. So I'm just like, man, everyone sucks. I like TNA more, right? And I understand that, right? WWE fell into a situation where they had to rely on John Cena a lot. And he was overexposed and people didn't like that. This should not detract from the fact, and I'm going to say it, and I know a lot of people are not going to agree. So you can disagree in the comments if you want. You can unsubscribe if you want. I don't give a rat's ass because this is the truth. John Cena is a fantastic wrestler. I'm not comfortable arguing that he's the best wrestler of all time yet, but he will go down, if he hasn't already, as one of the best wrestlers of all time. Right there with Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair and Rock and Stone Cold. Right there. Those might be the top five. John Cena has done everything that one should do, and he has done it very, very well. And I will explain in a 25 reasons video right now why Cena is fucking awesome, right? And I really do believe that if you listen to these reasons, you too will start to understand that Cena is awesome if you're one of the people that thinks he sucks. Because a lot of the things that people say about Cena and a lot of reasons they use to say that he sucks are just not true. And I'll get to them right now. Reason one, he has had multiple gimmicks and his rapper gimmick was over and very awesome. Now, the rapper gimmick wasn't just over and awesome because it was funny that, oh, look, it's like a white guy who isn't aware that he comes off as a douchebag, right? No, that's part of it. The other part of it was that it was badass as a heel, and I'll explain why. John Cena's rapper gimmick, to those that don't know, started on like a Halloween episode of SmackDown when he dressed as Vanilla Ice and he was just talking rhymes the whole time, right? It was like a little gag that they showed a couple of times during the show in backstage segments, right? So I was like, oh, like that's the first time he actually stood out to me because I didn't really like him when he debuted against Kurt Angle. I'm like, who the fuck's this jobber? He has like no character, Like even back then, I'm like, you have no character, you suck, right? So I didn't give a rat's ass at all. Now, as that became his gimmick, essentially. He became like a rapper, right? It was pretty much stifled very quickly after he got injured by Brock Lesnar. So up until that point, it was whatever. He was just starting out. He got injured by Brock Lesnar. A few months later, little vignettes started popping up with John Cena wearing like pinwheel hats and like jerseys and like being this like old school like gangster type, right? And he would rap. And amongst the things that he would say, which were very inflammatory, even by the standards of back then, they were I can't believe some of the things that he said on TV. I'll get to that in a second. But he would pretty much go after Brock Lesnar, who was not only the WWE champion, but the clear number one guy in the company and the clear future of the business and the company, right? And Cena would just go after him, right? And he would say like, I'm going to bury you, Brock. I'm going to come after you. You broke my neck. I'm like, payback's a bitch, right? And this got me thinking at the time. I'm like, wow, this is like a really cool gimmick, right? Like the rapper gimmick has shifted a bit into now this overconfident heel, right? Like John Cena was like an undercard guy at the time, which is hard to even believe, but he was an undercard guy. And his argument was, I don't care if I'm an undercard guy implicitly, right? I'm coming after you, Brock. You broke my neck. You understand what I'm saying? How cool is that, right? He's saying to Brock Lesnar, who is like superior to him in every way, I don't give a shit, man. I'm coming after you. You took me out, Brock. I'm coming after you. So that got people to start liking him a little bit. He came back, had like one of his return matches, and he beat Rikishi, who was still over at the time. Rikishi was still kind of a big deal. And that was almost like a surprise. not really, because John Cena was clearly getting a pseudo push at the time, but he picked up Rikishi like Rikishi was nothing in the AA, or the FU as it was called back then, and nobody really kind of believed that. They're like, holy shit, this guy's really strong. And he hit the FU, and Michael Cole and Taz were like, oh my god, he hit a version of the F5 on Rikishi, because that was the point. A lot of people don't know, but the FU was called the FU because he was in a feud with Brock Lesnar, and he said in a rap, he said, your finisher's the F5 and mine's the FU. It was just a punchline, but it eventually turned into like the name of his finisher, which is loosely based on the F5 in that it starts like that. Because the first time he did it, when he picked up Rikishi, he looked at the camera and he was like, what now, Brock? Like, basically, I can do it too, bitch. And he couldn't do the F5 because that would be ridiculous. You can't have the same finisher. But he did it. He did a similar move, which is kind of what MJF and Cody are doing now with the double cross and the crossroads. But I digress. So in addition to this, he's had his awesome, like, not awesome, I'll be honest. He's had like his like Superman gimmick for a long time now, which kind of like also was like a Marine gimmick for a while when he filmed the Marine. That was really cringy. But aside from that, he's done a good job with the gimmicks that he's been given, the gimmicks that he has, developed, right? So you can't really hate his gimmick. His gimmick game is legit. Now, reason 2, right? Here's where we get to the inappropriate things that John Cena did back then, which were cool back then and today would never fly, right? At one point, John Cena kissed Kenzo Suzuki's wife, right? Kenzo was the heel. Cena kissed her like against her will, I guess, right? So it's kind of like sexual assault, but you know, it's all cool because it's wrestling, right? Haha. So he did it, and then after that, he did the Icky Shuffle, which is a little dance, right? And Michael Cole's like, Cena's doing the Icky Shuffle. Like, he completely ignored the fact that Cena just sexually assaulted this woman, right? Because it's wrestling, and that's what happens in wrestling. Like, that's like a common trope, you know, like the face sexually assaults like the heel manager or something. But whatever, that was cool at the time because Cena was just getting over, and at the time this was accepted as like a normal wrestling trope, you know. And of course it's fake; he didn't really do it, so it is what it is, right? Then I think either after this match there was a promo that Cena had with with Kenzo Suzuki, right? He had like this promo with Kenzo, and in the promo, like Cena was rapping. Either it was a promo, I don't remember very well, but either it was a promo or like a rap battle with Kenzo Suzuki. I remember Kenzo Suzuki came in dressed like Uncle Sam, basically, you know, and he's like, I love America. And Cena was like as he was rapping to him, keep in mind, Cena was the face here, right? He said to Kenzo Suzuki's wife, he said like something along the lines of, because, you know, she would like, she would dress like a geisha, right? She had like the white makeup on and wearing like the nice little kimono that she would wear. And Cena said to her, he said, I don't do makeup, but I can help you with a white face. In other words, motherfuckers, John Cena insinuated that he would ejaculate on Kenzo Suzuki's wife's face, thereby turning it white with his ejaculate. You understand what I'm saying? Now, that would never fly today. That would be like a Me Too moment. You understand me? But back then, even back then, that was a very risque thing to say. And I still remember it to this day because I'm like, I can't believe this guy just said that. It actually was edgy. It was one of the edgiest things I think I've ever heard on TV. Way more edgy than a lot of what we heard in the Attitude Era, you know? It was legit like, oh my God, this guy just said he would come on this woman's face in front of her husband. Not only that, he said this, right, to a Japanese person. She spoke English, and Kenzo Suzuki didn't really speak English. That was kind of the gimmick that they had. Like, she was his mouthpiece, right? So in other words, he's offending this guy's wife in front of him, but the guy doesn't even understand him. So it's even more like underhanded, you know what I mean? And he was the face. But once again, it got a pop because people react to these things. And Cena understood that. So he wasn't this goody two-shoes guy the whole time. But he did change himself, and we're going to get to that. Reason number 5, motherfuckers. John Cena is charismatic. I don't care what people say. John Cena is very, very charismatic. He's good on the mic, and he just has like natural charisma. He can get the crowd behind him. He can get the crowd to hate him, right? The reason people hate him is because he has to go and be a certain way. If Cena wanted to get you to like him, he could do it like this, motherfuckers. Like this. If someone was like, hey, Cena, get this person to like you, that person would like John Cena within 10 minutes. It's as simple as that. But of course, when he plays like the character of the goody two-shoes, right? People are not going to like that. Not everyone's going to like that. So this gets conflated with him not being charismatic. He's very charismatic. Reason 6. John Cena is funny, motherfuckers. If you did not understand that he was funny after my Hiroko example above, then there's no helping you. Cena is fucking hilarious. All right? Deal with it, motherfuckers. So, a lot of people keep saying that, oh, Cena, he's corny, he's this and that. That's kind of the shtick. All right? The point is that he's supposed to be this like over the top good guy, right? Like he never does the wrong thing. He never like cheats, right? That's kind of the character. It's one part to appeal to the children and the parents of the children who want their kids to have a good role model. And it's another part, tongue in cheek for the rest of us who are like, oh, that's like so over the top that it's ridiculous. But Cena is hilarious. Reason number 7, a very, very important reason. Not the most important one. That's number 25 as usual, but a very important reason. Cena looks like a wrestler, man. This is a very important element of being a good wrestler. He looks like a star. He's a handsome guy. He's muscular. He's strong. He's athletic. And he's charming. I don't think there's anyone in the WWE roster that has all of those right now. No one. Like Roman Reigns has some of them, but he doesn't look that strong, if I'm being honest. And he's not charming. You know, he's kind of not charming at all. He's kind of dull. He has his own charisma. He's more like he's more of like a Batista, right? But that's why Roman Reigns is having trouble being the face of the company. Seth Rollins has maybe like 1 or 2 of those things, right? Nobody else has the total package I've seen him. No one, not even Orton. Orton has a certain charm to him, and he has like a pseudo charisma, but not really. He's not charismatic like Cena's charismatic. Anyways, let's move on, motherfuckers. Reason number 8. Cena had a match of the year candidate with AJ Styles. He had a variety of match of the year candidates with AJ Styles, but the one where Cena won his 16th world title was a perfect wrestling match, in my opinion. As a story, it was fantastic. Can John Cena, like the only problem was that AJ Styles isn't young. He's like the same age as Cena, basically, right? But in the context of the story, AJ Styles is this like young guy who just got to WWE and is dominating, and Cena is like, you know, like a past his prime type guy, even though like he obviously isn't, right? And the storyline was it's AJ Styles' time now. Can Cena, my time is now, can Cena become champion once again? Right? And it was a perfect story to tie the record of Ric Flair, which hopefully Cena will one day beat. I think he will. He'll probably beat it in like 10 years against like Velveteen Dream or something, but it doesn't matter. He'll beat it eventually, right? And the point is, John Cena not only had a great storyline with AJ Styles, like the "you can't beat me, John." AJ Styles beat him clean a few times, which was like a rarity, you know? And not only that, but the match itself was fantastic. They did all their moves. AJ Styles is also incredible. There was not one botch, and the match ended in a very symbolic fashion. Cena does the AA at like for the millionth time because AJ Styles kicked out of him. He does the AA, and fearing that it's not enough, picks up AJ Styles and does another AA, pinning him 1, 2, 3, and becoming the champ as whatever Charles Robinson, whatever the blonde referee comes out, who's like a big Flair mark apparently, and gives Cena the title. It was fantastic. The match was great. Of course, the neckbeard king, Dave Meltzer, was like, 4.5 stars. It wasn't as good as the completely meaningless Kenny Omega versus Okada like jobber match that nobody cared about at all. Oh, Kenny Omega won the irrelevant New Japan title. It doesn't matter, man. John Cena became WWE champion again. Are you fucking kidding me? That's like one of the most important like parts of Cena's career. And Cena is one of the best wrestlers of all time on the face. So that was great, and I love that match. I love that storyline. In my opinion, it really did elevate AJ Styles as well, right? And also, it showed that people like Dave Meltzer don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Reason 9. Cena has granted more Make-A-Wish wishes than anyone in history, motherfuckers. Now, you can be concerned about the motivations, whether these are just to like put himself over, it doesn't matter. In my opinion, it goes like this. Doing the right thing for the right reason is the most important thing you can do. After that, doing the right thing for perhaps the wrong reason is better than doing the wrong thing at all, or especially doing the wrong thing for the wrong reason. So overall, it's a net positive, and Cena is awesome for doing that. A lot of kids look up to him, and he doesn't shun them. He doesn't like pretend that he's too good for them. No, he engages them, and he does his best to make them happy, right? And there's nothing sadder than a sick and dying child. And John Cena has taken it upon himself to meet hundreds of these sick and dying children, which probably takes a toll on him. And he has done it in order to do the right thing. So big ups to Cena. Got my respect for that, motherfuckers. Number 10. John Cena's program with The Rock was a WrestleMania worthy program both times around. A lot of people seem to have this idea that the first one was like all right because they announced it like a year later, etc., etc. But the facts are that I think both times it was like that. Both times it was fantastic. In my opinion, honestly, the like WrestleMania, I don't remember which one it was, but the one where John Cena beat The Rock, was it 28? I don't remember, right? Or 29, one of them. That one, in my opinion, was one of the best WrestleMania main events of all time. Now, I happened to be in Jersey at the time because I was in law school, and I was able to watch that. I went with my friend, and we watched it live. And I heard that the match did not translate as well on TV as it did live, because live it was insane. People were losing their minds, and everyone wanted The Rock to win except for me, because I understood what was happening here. You know, I understood like my friend, for example, is a casual fan by every metric. He doesn't even watch wrestling. He was like in town basically, and he was like, let's go watch WrestleMania. So we did, and the whole point with this is that John Cena was finally getting retribution for what was like a 2-year feud at this point, where The Rock screwed him out of the title. John Cena, like a normal wrestler, like a mid-carder, won the Royal Rumble and worked his way back up to the main event, right? Where he had to win. Obviously, he was going to win. Everyone knew he was going to win. That's why they wanted The Rock to win. But the program was so fantastic because it was arguably, like if you think about it objectively, kayfabe-wise, it is probably John Cena's greatest moment in his career, because it is the one time that John Cena main evented, like closed the show at WrestleMania and won the WWE title. Isn't that crazy? He won the WWE title, right, at WrestleMania against The Rock. Other times he beat JBL, but that wasn't the show closer. And then he defended the title a few times, and he's had other moments at WrestleMania. There's no doubt about it. But it was by far the number one moment. It was the crowning moment of John Cena. Arguably, the guy who will go down as the greatest wrestler of all time. That's why that WrestleMania moment was the best one. And the program was awesome. And shout out to The Rock for, number one, being The Rock, who's also one of the best of all time, and having a fantastic match, in my opinion, against John Cena. A lot of people are like, oh, it wasn't great. They didn't do any, like, I didn't see any Rainmaker clotheslines in that match. Doesn't matter, nerd. Who cares what moves they did? The match was legit. And while their first match was kind of goofy because The Rock just, like, won with, like, a people's elbow, right? In a very weird way. Like, John Cena was, like, getting too overconfident. This match was, like, a serious match, and John Cena won after, like, so many teased AAs and so many teased rock bottoms and so many realized AAs and realized rock bottoms. So good for them. It was awesome. Reason number 11. And this is also a very important reason. Not one of my favorite reasons, but arguably one of the most important reasons. John Cena very rarely botches a move and very, very rarely injures people. This is a super important reason and a super important point in the argument that John Cena is a great wrestler. I am sick of this nonsense. You know, oh, like this guy, like Okada's a great wrestler. Is he? Is he? Maybe he is. All I know is that in New Japan, people are getting injured left and right and missing like a year of their life, of their job, because they're doing dumb shit. And the reason they're missing it is because they aren't as good as wrestlers as you think. Shibata, you know, was one of my favorites in New Japan, actually. He like concussed himself, nearly killed himself with a headbutt, and now he ended his career. You know, he can't even protect himself, and you want to trust this guy to protect other people in the match? Like that Mitsuharu Misawa guy died in the ring, man. In Mexico and Japan, people are dying in the ring because they're taking it too seriously or because they refuse to retire at a reasonable age. Like, fucking Misawa was like in his 50s or whatever when he died. Dude, you're in your 50s. I'm not saying you can't go, but in your 50s, you have like years and years of fatigue of wrestling, right, that have culminated and are shown in your body. You take one wrong move, you might die. Not because you're old, but because you're tired, man. You've been doing it for years. Whereas John Cena never botches anything and never injures anyone. Never. Bret Hart, I think, was the one that pointed out that like a good wrestler is someone. How did he say it? It was like someone who makes it look as real as possible without hurting someone as little as possible, right? It's not good wrestling if Nakamura does like a move on John Cena and drops him on his head because he's not strong enough to lift John Cena. And even in that, people are like, oh, it's John Cena's fault. He didn't jump high enough. No, it's not. Nakamura and people in New Japan have injured people left and right. John Cena has never injured anybody. John Cena didn't even hold it against him. Nakamura, who's a smart guy, understood that he fucked up. And he said to Cena, I'm sorry. And Cena's like, don't even worry about it. Because he's a real man. You understand what I'm saying? Meanwhile, Seth Rollins gets injured, injures people. He injured Cena. He got injured by Kane, right? All these people just getting injured left and right. Like every couple of years they're injured. They're out for like 6 months. And I'm supposed to believe they're better wrestlers? No, fam. They're not athletic enough. Unlike Cena. They don't have the build. That's why it's important to be a big guy. Because if you have the build, it's harder to injure you. If you don't have the build, if you're chicken legs Rollins and he does like a flip powerbomb onto Kane, who's like 300 pounds, and he just his frame cannot support the size of Kane, so he tweaks his knee or whatever, right? Of course it's gonna happen. If you're like some skinny guy, if you're like Hiromu Takahashi, who's like skinny fat, this guy's like barely an athlete, right? Of course, you take one wrong move, you're gonna get injured. Of course, man. Haven't you not noticed? Like the people that are smart, good wrestlers don't like Cena, Christian. Remember Christian, motherfuckers? Back in the day, Christian had like the longest streak of never getting injured because he wrestled intelligently, and he was 7,000 times the wrestler Okada is. So understand that. Never botches, rarely injures anybody. It's fascinating to me that people don't even take these things into account. You know? They're like, well, this guy did like a jumping knee. He's a better wrestler, even though he's injured everyone with that move. Even AJ Styles injured people with the Styles Clash. You know? And there's something to be said about that. AJ Styles, I've noticed it. Sometimes when he picks someone up for the Styles Clash, he has to do it because he's not strong enough to hold up a grown man like that. It's a hard move to do. And sometimes he jumps a little too prematurely without making sure the guy's head isn't the way it's supposed to be. Now, and I know it's not all his fault, but you understand what I'm saying. Number 12. Cena has mainstream appeal and appeals to fans all over the world. Women, children, other men, teenagers, they love Cena. Every time they show like WWE going somewhere else, like Saudi Arabia, India, Japan, everyone has like a John Cena song. Like, oh, Cena. I remember like when they went to Japan, all the girls were like either like Cena, Orton, or Shawn Michaels. Why? You know why, motherfuckers, because they're real men and they're attractive guys, and that's what sells. It's not these like nerd beards. They're like, I want to see Nakamura as a champion. People in Japan don't give a shit about Nakamura. He looks weird, man. Even in Japan, they're like, this guy's like not a handsome guy. Why the fuck would women care about him? And that's like a big part of your fan base now, especially now with this women's evolution. So think about it. You have to be smart about these things. Anyways, reason number 13. Despite what neckbeards say that Cena sucks, everybody knows that they secretly miss him. People secretly miss Cena. And this is why he's awesome. Because you want it to go away, even if you're one of the people that wants it to go away, immediately you're like, oh man, I miss Cena. Oh God. When Cena gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, people are going to start chanting like, best wrestler ever, or something like that. Definitely thank you, Cena, of course. Nobody has earned respect more than John Cena. Nobody. Not even Undertaker, motherfuckers. Cena has consistently been there for such a long time, and he's consistently been the man for such a long time. Undertaker has been since after his American Badass thing, when he went back to being the dead man, he has pretty much been a part-timer. You know, since he was like 40, you know, like how old is Undertaker now? Like 55, let's say, right? For like the last 10, 15 years, Undertaker has been a part-timer, man. There was stints. He had stints where he would go in there and have feuds, right? They had like a feud with Edge, things like that. But typically, he's never been a guy that wrestles on like Monday or Friday, like in a long, long time. Since basically he was the American Badass. There wasn't like, eventually he was on SmackDown and he would have matches here and there on SmackDown, but they were rare. Even then, they were rare. It was not like he was not a full-time wrestler. Cena has been for a long time. Now, that leads us, of course, to reason 14. Cena, speaking of Undertaker, Cena has put over a lot of people, man, including Roman Reigns, Nakamura, who did not deserve it, and Undertaker as well, who also arguably didn't deserve it. Cena did not have to go out there and job out the Undertaker in a 2-minute match, but he did it because he understands that that's what he should do. He should make the show entertaining. Cena has always been about that. Yes, I know. He has gone on a lot of win streaks, and people are like, oh, he shouldn't have beaten The Miz ever. Edge should have been like where Cena is. Yeah, there's a few people that have lost to Cena that maybe shouldn't have lost to Cena because they could have had great careers too. But a lot of them, guess what, motherfuckers? A lot of them did have great careers. Edge had a great career. Jericho, who Cena beat, has had a great career, right? Cena never really buried anybody. He just took the championship and became the face of the company. So people like Jericho, who were never really the face, had to eventually go down and, know their place and make way for Cena. Even CM Punk, he put over CM Punk, man. He put over Del Rio, man. He put all these people that aren't around anymore. And that honestly weren't that good. I mean, Del Rio was pretty cool, but that's about it. Other people weren't that good. And so it's going to put them over. So it is what it is. Number 15. Thus far, as it stands today, motherfuckers, Cena is the last superstar that WWE has made. I'm talking like a real one. You know what I mean? Like Brock Lesnar is a superstar. He's a multi-sport superstar. Stone Cold, obviously, mainstream appeal. Everywhere in the 90s. The Rock, enough said. One of the highest paid actors in Hollywood. Right? John Cena, same thing. A star. A guy who has sold more merch than probably all those people. Right? A legit star. A legit mainstream guy. A household name. You understand what I'm saying? A household name. Everybody knows John Cena. Everyone, man. My girlfriend is from Brazil. And I'm like, do you know John Cena? Like when we eventually after we met, she's like, yeah, I know John Cena. I'm like, do you know Randy Orton? She's like, no. The fuck knows Randy Orton? You understand what I'm saying? Everybody knows John Cena, man. Everyone. He is legit a mainstream guy. And since John Cena, there has not been one mainstream guy. On purpose. They've done it on purpose. Like Randy Orton is not a mainstream guy. CM Punk is nowhere near a mainstream guy. Right? He's a next stream guy, you understand? But not a mainstream guy. Everybody else, Sheamus, all these guys, none of them are mainstream. And Cena's the last one. He could not be denied that. It's impossible. He would be mainstream no matter what. And in my opinion, motherfuckers, he is going to have a very successful Hollywood career. Well, you can argue that he already has one, but he definitely will have a very, very successful one. You'll see. He'll have like one, I think, on par with The Rock. I really do. And The Rock obviously has a very, very successful one. Except Cena, I think, is going to reach the level The Rock is at a little bit quicker. Only because there's a template now. And The Rock is not getting any younger. And Cena has like a good 7 or 8 year, whatever. At least 5 years on The Rock. So we'll see. Let's move on. Reason 16. Cena has incredible work ethic, motherfuckers. And I respect a good work ethic. Cena has done what needs to be done almost always. He looks like $1 million. I think I heard on an interview that he has trained like since age like 14 or something. He has been to the gym like every day except for like 6 days, right? Not counting days that he's injured and stuff. But he has taken 6 days off in the last like 25 years. Just going to the gym and just working out every day. It's insane, man. I don't even think that's humanly possible. He must be some sort of other species up in this bitch. Anyways, reason 17. Cena is exceptionally strong and his moves reflect that and get big pops. Like Cena can do the AA on Great Khali and people lose their minds because the Great Khali is an abnormally large man. And Cena, even though he's very strong, he's not a really big guy. Like he's like 6'1", 6'2", maybe, right? And he's obviously wide and strong. But him, just visually, him lifting a man that big is just incredibly impressive. And his moves reflect that, right? Reason 18. Cena has very good in-ring mannerisms. This is a very important one, in my opinion. In his match with Brock Lesnar, Brock Lesnar was like highly anticipated return match. People thought that Cena was gonna get his ass beat, right? I thought that was one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life. I'm not even joking, because it's one of the few matches that actually told the story that Brock Lesnar is just superior to you. He's gonna whoop your ass. And the way John Cena won the match was he hit Brock Lesnar with he punched him in the face while holding like a chain. Right? And Cena was bleeding, and he just got up, and he just had this look on his face. I'll never forget it. He was just angry, right? Like basically, fuck you, Brock Lesnar. I'm no bitch, right? And he picked him up and gave him an AA all the steel steps, and it was awesome, and he won. Then eventually, Brock Lesnar whooped his ass. But the point is, he also put Brock Lesnar over, motherfuckers. Deal with it. So the point is, he has very good in-ring mannerisms. I see this video is running a little long, but bear with me. Reason 25 is where it's going to be amazing. Reason 19. Cena is probably the most consistent wrestler in the history of wrestling. No one has been on top as long as he has. No one. There's people that could have been, like Brock Lesnar, Stone Cold, The Rock. These people could have been on top as long as Cena was. But even if that's true, it's just those people. Someone like Triple H could not be on top as long as Cena has. And in fact, he wasn't on top as long as Cena was. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, there is a special something about Cena in his consistency to consistently sell merchandise and be over. Which leads to number 20. Cena draws money, motherfuckers. Whether you like it or not, Cena is a big draw. So you have to deal with that shit and take it for what it is. Reason 21. Cena's FU, aka the AA, is what led to Kenny Omega's one-winged angel. Think about it, motherfuckers. Electric chair versus fireman's carry. Basically the same shit when the move concludes, because Kenny Omega has the guy swing the leg, he grabs the head, and the guy's basically in like a fireman's carry. And then instead of sliding him to the side, he slides him downwards. It's the same fucking move, man. It's the same move. He stole it from Cena, motherfuckers. Reason 22. Cena is not a nerd or a virgin. And a lot of wrestlers, like Sammy Guevara, look like nerds and virgins, but Cena is not one of them. 23. Cena is a dude. This is very important. He is a dude. He's a guy that you could have like a barbecue with and you'd have a great time with him. If you had a beer with Cena, it'd be like an awesome time. You'd probably talk about sports and girls and things like that. You wouldn't talk about fucking Street Fighter and a bunch of bullshit like that like you would with the Young Bucks. Oh, who do you think would win a real fight? Kenny Omega or Ken from Street Fighter? You wouldn't talk about that kind of weird shit, you know? And I actually like Street Fighter, so they ruined that shit for me. And also, part of the same reason, Cena is cool, man. He's just a cool guy. You can tell he's a cool guy. Like, he's a guy that's been cool his entire life. Like, in high school, he probably got all the broads, right? In college, he probably got all the broads. He's not this, like, nerd, like when you compare him to, like, a Kofi Kingston. This guy was just, like, a loser probably his entire life. So Cena was not a loser. He was a cool dude. Reason 24. Cena, these are the two most important reasons. 24. He has had many great matches. Amongst them are the following. The Hell in a Cell match that led to Edge eventually cashing in on John Cena. Not Hell in a Cell, sorry, Elimination Chamber. The match he had on Raw with Shawn Michaels, that was an hour. That was awesome. The match with Rusev. That was awesome. All the matches with Cena and The Rock. Fucking awesome, man. A lot of them were awesome. A few matches with Batista. Basically, matches with anyone that's good have been good, like with Cena. Even his match with Brock Lesnar when he was just a rookie, basically. That was great. It told a story. It was awesome. His feud with Eddie Guerrero, incredible stuff. Great matches. Cena's had an insane amount of great matches. And reason 25, by far the most important reason why Cena is awesome, and by far the greatest lie ever told about Cena. The lie is that Cena has the 5 moves of doom. Well, motherfuckers, I have typed out a small list of the moves that I could think of that Cena has done. A lot of them he does all the time, right? That proves that he has not only just more than 5 moves, but he has more moves than almost every wrestler. This is the beauty of it. Like, if you look at Finn Balor or Nakamura, or like maybe Cesaro has more moves than Cena, but that's about it. Everybody else, basically, like Nakamura and Balor, each have 3 or 4 moves. Cena has way more moves than that. Now, to characterize the moves, I have these rules, right? Any kind of kick is considered one move. So Luke Gallows does like a roundhouse kick and then a big boot. It's basically the same thing. It serves the same purpose. He uses it at the same kind of time, right? To get like a hot tag type situation going, right? Any kind of punch and things like that is the same move, right? If you do a clothesline, like for example, Roman Reigns does like a jumping clothesline and the Superman punch. Now you can argue those are 2 different moves, but it's basically the same thing. You know what I mean? Basically the same thing. Any kind of moves that are too similar I consider one move. So when you tell me like Nakamura is a perfect example of this. He does the Kinshasa, then he does the Kinshasa to the back of the head. That's the same move. He does it like to a different part of someone's body, but it's the same move. He does like the top rope Kinshasa, like when he jumps and knees the guy. Same idea basically, but fine, we can count that as a different move. Then he does like the knee when the guy's in the corner, and he does the knee when the guy's on the apron. It's the same fucking shit. Finn Balor doing a dropkick like to the outside, or doing a dropkick where the guy hits the turnbuckle. It's the same fucking move, man. It's just like doing a kick off the apron and a kick like on the ground. It's the same thing. Doing a double foot stomp is the same as doing a double foot stomp after like a little leg takedown move, right? So what I'm talking about is clear, distinct moves, and Cena has a lot of them. So here we go. Number one, the Tornado DDT, motherfuckers. Cena does the Tornado DDT and does it pretty decently. That's one. Hurricane Rana. That's right, bitches. Hurricane Rana. That's two. He does the... If anyone watches Dragon Gate, they know Naruki Doi was the Doi 5s. Cena does the Doi 5s almost, right? He grabs the guy in like a fall away slam type thing and then spins them out and face busters him. That's a move that Cena does. It's not exactly like the Doi 5s, but it's very similar. So I called that the Doi 5s on my list. Three. That's three moves right now. Move number four. The Emerald Flosion Side Slam, motherfuckers. That's right. He's done this various times when he grabs the guy and just kind of like plants him down to the side as a side slam. Five. Sidewalk Slam. He does it all the time. Sometimes with one arm. Six. Gut Wrench. Like a gut wrench side slam. That's six. Seven. Flip Powerbomb. Like the one that Rey Mysterio does. He does that too. Where like, or the one that like that Molina used to do, or Trevor Murdoch used to do. Right? The Flip Powerbomb. Where he like, the one that like cruiserweights do now. That's seven. Drop toe hold. 8. Shoulder block. 9. AA. 10, motherfuckers. 5 knuckle shuffle. 11. Drop kick. I would say 12, but we're not going to count drop kick because everyone does a drop kick, right? We can't, the same way that I don't count it for Finn Balor, I'm not going to count it for him. So how many is that? 10? 12? I don't remember. Next move. Let's just say that was 12. 13. Spin out power bomb. The thing he does before the 5 knuckle shuffle. 14. Half Nelson backbreaker, motherfuckers. 15. The STFU or the STF. 16. Diving famouser. 17. Belly to belly suplex. 18. Springboard stunner. 19. The throwback, which is essentially a variant of the natural selection that Charlotte Flair does, but better. Jumping hip toss, motherfuckers. The jumping hip toss is a very Cena move. It's when he does the hip toss and jumps with the person. Now we're talking, he also did this clothesline once where he was waiting in the turnbuckle, just charging up, and did a clothesline that looked badass. And he typically does the clothesline, which is like pretty awesome. This is in addition to other things that he does, by the way, like him catching someone in order to do the AA, or doing like a double AA or an avalanche AA. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm not counting like avalanche AA and AA as two different moves. I'm not counting like double AA and AA as two different moves. I'm not counting like the diving like 5 knuckle shuffle from the turnbuckle as a different move. No. We're not counting these bullshit moves. We're only counting like real moves, right? So that's what I'm saying. For the same reason you can't count all Nakamura's knees as different moves. Oh, back elbow. Get the fuck out of here. And most importantly, like move number 20 or 21, whatever the fuck we have now, the lightning fist, motherfuckers. A lot of people don't like the lightning fist. I think it's fantastic because it's a goofy ass move, the 6th move of Doom, even though he does more than 6 moves, as we've just proven beyond a reasonable doubt that he does more moves. The lightning fist is great because number one, if someone punches you in the face, it's going to hurt a lot more than a super kick or anything like that. Trust me. Believe me. 1. 2, it's goofy enough to where people can look forward to it. 3, it's John Cena, motherfuckers. So he can do whatever the hell he wants. It's like his people's elbow, basically. All right, motherfuckers. We're done with this video. Went a little too long, but I think it was worth making. In conclusion, Cena rules. AEW sucks, motherfuckers.